digital age, staying ahead of the curve is crucial for success. Turabo Business School is committed to empowering the next generation of leaders with the skills they need to thrive. We present to you our special computer training exclusively designed for SS3 and GSS3 graduates. Our comprehensive program covers a wide range of topics, including
Good morning, Nigeria. My name is Abraham Minor Judah. You are welcome to a very special edition of the Sun TV Morning Show. This is Thursday, June 12th. And across the nation today, hearts and mind reflects on the journey of our democracy. June 12th is more than just a date. It's a symbol, a turning point. A day etched in the consciousness of Nigerians as the moment when people spoke with one voice, demanding change through the ballots. On this day in 1993, Nigerians defied ethnic, religious, and regional divides to vote in what has been called the freest and fairest election in our history. It was a day of unity, hope, and promise. A rare moment when Nigeria believed that the will of the people will finally triumph. The presumed winner of the election, Chief Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, or MKO Abiola as is fondly known, ran under the Social Democratic Party SDP and won a pan-Nigerian mandate. But that dream was cruelly deferred when the military regime annulled the results. Yet, the June 12 story did not end there. In the face of our injustice, heroes emerged, men and women who chose to stand on the side of truth and democratic ideas. Men and women like Kudirat Abiola, the fearless wife of MKO, who led protests and spoke boldly until she was assassinated for daring to speak truth to power. We also have Gani Fawemi, the fiery human rights lawyer activist who never backed down from holding the military accountable. We also have Beko Ramson Kuti, a courageous doctor and pro-democracy voice. We also have our Chief Frank Kokori, who led oil workers in strikes that nearly crippled the regime in protest of the annulment. And countless journalists, students, and activists who were jailed, beaten, and silenced, but never gave up. Their courage paved way for the return of civilian rule in 1999, and it is in their honor that June 12 was declared Nigeria's official Democracy Day by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2018. Chief MKO Abiola once declared that hope does not kill. It is despair that kills. We shall all live in hope. And so today we remember the sacrifice, the struggle, and the spirit of resistance that birthed the democracy. But more importantly, we must ask, what does June 12 mean today in 2025? It reminds us that democracy is not just about elections. It is about justice, equity, accountability, and service. It is about ensuring that a common man is not just heard but represented. That's the right of every Nigerian, rich or poor. This day calls on all of us, citizens, leaders, and institutions to recommit to the values of truth, transparency, and people's first governance. Let's not forget, democracy thrives when the people are vigilant. And we'll reflect on June 12. As we reflect on June 12, Let us be inspired to continue to fight for a better Nigeria, a Nigeria that works for everyone. Once again, good morning, Nigerians. It's a Some TV morning show, and it's on Democracy Day, a day that we celebrate June 12th. So we have a packed program for you today, from exclusive interviews and straight reflections to special tributes to the icons of democracy. Stay with us as we honor our past, confront our present, and chart a course towards a democratic future that lives up to the hopes of June 12. Once again, let me tell you one of my favorite quotes from Chief MKO Abiola. He once said, "You cannot shave a man's head in his absence. Nigerians must be allowed to decide their own destiny." So we call on every Nigerian elective or appointive position to ensure that Nigerians decide their destiny. On these notes, we'll go to the papers this morning to see how Nigeria is faring on June 12, 2025. We'll start with the Vanguard. The Vanguard newspaper is where we're starting today. On the Vanguard, we have the following headlines on the cover page of the Vanguard. No final decision on $5 billion oil-backed loan from Saudi Aramco, says federal government. That story is on page 20 of the Vanguard. And we have US, UK, Canada, Finland, Norway to federal government. Stop misuse of Cybercrime Act. That is on page 10 of the Vanguard. And Tinubu to Wike, we are open to receiving you in APC. That story is on page 9 of the Vanguard. Then Lagos Airport drama, Airpeace Oshomole in Words of Words. The story is on page 8 of the Vanguard. Then we also have other stories. Insecurity, police arrest 42 armed herders, bandits over Benue attacks. That story is on page 6 of the Vanguard. Call strikers Akpabio's appeal against Natasha, award 100,000 naira against him. That story is on page 9 of the Vanguard. 2027, why am I ready to join anti-Tinubu forces? Why I'm ready to join anti-Tinubu forces? Amechi, you can read that story on page 8 of the Vanguard. Then on page 56, on the sports page, FIFA ranking Super Eagles back in Africa's top 5. That story can be seen on the sports page on page 56 of the Vanguard. Then the major headlines reads, 32 years after June 12, democracy declining under APC, ACF, PDP, Afenifere, Ohanaeze, others. It's work in progress. Afenifere, democratic ideas are not yet entrenched. ACF, electoral fraud, power grab, mockery of democracy, CUPP. Let us take that story on the Vanguard. That's 32 years after democracy declined under APC, as Nigerians celebrate the 32 years after the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential elections won by Chief Moshood Kashima Wolawale Abiola. Mixed reaction greeted the state of democratic governance in the country yesterday. On June 6, 2018, former President Muhammadu Buhari declared June 12 as a new day to mark Democracy Day in commemoration of Abiola's election. And since then, there have been public holiday on June 12, and it has been celebrated as a Democracy Day. However, the President Bola Tinubu's administration has been the eye of the storm over issues such as worsening security, harsh economic reforms, the use of the Cybercrime Act to intimidate and bully Nigerians, and the decline in the country's democracy. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, Social Democratic Party, SDP, Conference of Nigerian Political Parties, CNPP, Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP, the Pan-Yoruba Social Political Organization, Afenifere, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, yesterday dissected the state of the democracy under the current administration. They raised dust over the country's democratic institutions. including allegations of executive overreach, judicial interference, and marginalization of local government structures, concluded that democracy in Nigeria was endangered. So that is the conclusion of the ACF, the PDP, Afenifere, Ohanaeze, and others. So that is what we're going to take on that paper. With this, we move to another paper. Let us move to another paper this morning. Sorry. Okay. Let's move to the Daily Independent. The Daily Independent, Nigeria risk losing billions of naira in agro-processing as smuggling policy flip-flop persists. Then Afenifere reiterate call for restructuring state police. That is from another headline on the Daily Independent. Then we have federal government says no final decision yet on 5 billion naira Aramco oil-backed loan. That story is on page 7. And Air Peace accuses Oshomole of disrupting flight services. It's also on page 7. Then coalition to sack Tinubu in 2027 bound to fail. That is Wiki. That's their stories is on page 7 of the Daily Independent. Then poor sleep habits increase dementia risk. NARD wants NARD wants Nigerians. Proceeds reinstate Fubara, body judge tells Tinubu. And why Tinubu support leaders like Mba by First Lady. Spending 39 billion on ICC renovation outrageous, says CUPP. Tinubu have some policies that promote eco-friendly tourism in Africa. Well, the major headline has it that naysayers can distract me from serving Nigerians. Tinubu declares industrialization can flourish without good roads. Said APC will gladly welcome Wiki when he decides to join. So let us see what the president has to say there. On Wednesday, he took a swipe on the opposition, saying irrespective of naysayers plying their dirty politics, he will continue to serve Nigeria. Tinubu went on to assert that it is only through investment in critical infrastructure such as roads, rail, power, healthcare, education, coordinated and integrated development that the country's full potential could be unlocked. The president stated this when he commissioned the Arterial Road N16 Shehu Shagari Way from Ring Road 1 Nnamdi Azikiwe Way to Arterial Road N20 Wole Soyinka Road and so other roads in Katampe district of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. He said since assuming office in May 2023, his administration has been guided by a philosophy anchored on reforms and regeneration, regretting that despite the central role in Abuja Master Plan, the corridor was underdeveloped for years. So that is the president speaking there when he went to commission some road that was developed by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. He said the road will ease traffic congestion around central Abuja and improve connectivity to developing districts such as Katampe and Jabi. It will stimulate housing and business growth while serving as foundation for future city integration. So that's just some of the things the president said. I also praised Wike for his performance as FCT minister, declaring that the former Rivers State governor has continued to justify the confidence reposed in him. He said even though Wike is not yet a member of our party, we are proud of him. He's doing well. And when he decides to join us, we open our doors wide. He said with Wike, APC will continue to rejoice while the opposition keep growing, Tinubu said. That is what the president said about the minister of FCT, who is a prominent member of the People's Democratic Party. And the boy has been working closely with the president's administration since his appointment, fueling speculations about potential defection to the APC. So that is what we will take on that story there on Daily Independent. So we'll go to another paper. Okay. Let's go to another paper this morning. Sorry for the little Okay, The Guardian. The Guardian newspaper. Let's just take the stories, the major headline on The Guardian. 32 years on mixed feelings, tinge of regret as Democrats relieve ghost of June 12. That story is the major story on The Guardian, but we have other stories on the cover page. 8 kids, 80 houses raised in Plateau community. US, Britain, Canada order advise federal government against abusing Cybercrime Act. Fashoranti advocates Nigerians return to 1963 constitution. Then Tinubu awaits Wike's defection as PDP. Momodu caution on civilian dictatorship. And then we have How My Wife Rescued Me from Babacha's Men by Bamidele. Then fury over renaming of ICC after Tinubu amid 39 billion renovation scandal. Demand for foreign goods falls as Nigerian imports drop by 7% in Q1. LP Soshomole Bika over unruly behavior at Lagos airports. So we're going to look at the major story, which is 32 years on, mixed feeling things of regret as Democrats relieved ghost of June 12. According to the report by The Guardian, on the march again, there was a signature tune of the late Chief Moshood Kashima Wolawale Abiola as he flew the flag of the Social Democratic Party as his presidential standard bearer in the historic 1993 election. In various nooks and corners of the country, young people, men and women, both not so old and the elderly, echoed the chorus, MKO na our man, to affirm their support for the SDP presidential candidate who went on to win the election, which eventually turned out as a stillbirth victory. What will have culminated in a beautiful denouement of a long, windy and tricky military to civilian rule transition ended up as a bitter portion that left the sour aftertaste in the mouth of Nigeria. Next to soccer, then there was another invited exercise that holds so much endearment to Nigerians than democracy, specifically the election, which saddled them with the power to exercise authority to hire and fire over the high and mighty men and women who end up as leaders. Now, years later, we're still in this, talking about June 12. It was against the background of great expectations, particularly since the approach to the planned return to democracy, that Nigeria trooped out en masse on June 12, 1993 to choose their preferred candidate as president. And that could not be because instead of respecting the people's will, the military adventurers fostered a quasi-democracy that unveiled an appointed civilian head of government, augmented with an admixture of military and civilian federal cabinets. By supplanting Chief MK Abiola, the People's Choice, with the unpicked Ernest Shonekan, the Khaki Boys failed to acknowledge that the God of democracy does not accept the red oil in place of the blood. Ever since that cheeky attempt to tread on the express wheel of Nigerians, the specter of June 12 has continued to halt the polity as agitations for the revalidation of Abiola's election became a national anthem. And as we have it, subsequent attempts to appease the citizenry, including a promise of a fresh election, a political calm, constitutional conference, failed to douse the animosity against peace and other governance in the Federation. But in 1999, the democracy that the people desire dawned on the country. Yet, the murmurs against the put down of the popular will of June 12 persisted, leading to incremental effort at pacification. First, Chief MK Abiola was conferred with the posthumous honor of Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, GCFR, in a veiled recognition of his aborted presidency. Then on June 12, instead of May 29, was proclaimed as by then President Muhammadu Buhari as Democracy Day in Nigeria. That wind of recognition, which came 25 years after the annual election, was a sign that those who murdered democracy mother sleep and therefore not sleep. Again, 32 years after, June 12 has attained the full stature of a national holiday as well as a day to remember and reflect on the country's tortuous journey to enthrone a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That is the story of June 12 today, and it's a story of democracy, a story of a day when Nigeria came out en masse to vote for their choice in what was adjudged as the freest and fairest election in the history of Nigeria. Well, we go to another paper right away, which is the New Telegraph. The New Telegraph has Q1 2025, Nigerians recorded highest trade surplus from non-oil exports at 5.17 trillion naira. Recapitalization, CBN Force reports on BDC's deadline extension. Then Jonathan to African leaders prioritize policies that promote lending to farmers. Bamidele, how my wife rescued me from Abuja after evasion of my office. That is on page 27. Then APC will welcome Wike when he decides to join. That's Tinubu. Passengers stranded as Airpeace closes counter. Airline Oshomole Bika. Well, the major airlines yesterday, Democracy Day, Tinubu cancels parade to address Nigerians from NAS, some National Assembly today. We have Democracy's strongest when people are involved. According to Abbas, June 12 revising the struggle against military rule. Another airline says Musk says he regrets some Trump posts. Then 2 injured vehicles burnt as tanker explode on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. That story is on page 31. And for the Anambra Guba, Labour Party APC protests as state government imposes 50 million campaign permit fee. That is on page 4 of the Guardian. Page 4 of the New Telegraph. Then tariff war, China opens markets to 53 African countries on zero tariff basis. That story is on page 3. Page 3 of the New Telegraph. So that's all we'll take on the New Telegraph. We will take maybe a paper or 2 more before we wrap up this this segment. Then we have Wike teases the Punch. We'll now go to the Punch newspaper. Wike teases opposition. Tinubu calls ministers for APC. And blackout alert. Federal government commence crucial grid servicing. That story is on page 20. 3 decades after Abiola as Nigeria betrayed June 12th. Story. You can read that story on page 7 of the Punch. Democracy Day tension. Protesters mobilize as Tinubu addresses National Assembly. Protesters target National Assembly complex, Eagle Square, others. As security on high alert, nationwide police talk tough. Organizers vow to rally against hardship insecurity. We also have 6 vehicles burnt, traffic paralyzed in Lagos-Ibadan tanker explosion. Air rage, Oshomole Airpeace in ferry showdown. That story is on page 28. Amechi slams Tinubu's policies in fresh outbursts. Then flood ravage 180,000 farms across 30 states. That's all we can take on the Punch. And well, let's take Daily Trust. Daily Trust. We now move to the Daily Trust newspaper, where as the story, on the Daily Trust, Hajj 11 states spend 6.2 billion on pilgrims. That is 11 states spend 6.2 billion on pilgrims. Vehicles burnt as tanker explode on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. 41 killed in Plateau attacks in 1 week. Then we have the story, what June 12 mean to us citizens. Then major stories are blackout in Northeast, resident business owners count losses. We have the Northeast of Nigeria has been blackout for some days, for 2 days now. Residents and business owners in the Northeastern region are counting losses following a blackout occasioned by the construction of a 330 kV turning and turnout towers at the new Bauchi 330 kV substation transmission lines. You recall that the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, notified electricity distribution companies serving the 6 states in the northeast that there should be blackouts in the region, while some places will witness significant drop in supply of electricity. The notice said the outrage, which will start on June 10 and end on June 14, will affect the Jos Bauchi Gombe 132 kV line. But in Yola, the capital of the Anambra State, residents expressing frustration over the power outages, many grappling with spoiled salamit. Also here in Jalingo, the power outage for 2 days now, and we've been running on diesel. We're running on fuel, on diesel, on solar, on other sources of energy. But just as the TCN said, we hope that by June 14, the power will be restored, because it's not easy, as we all know, running 24 hours on other sources of electricity. So that is the story of the Northeast now, blackout in Borno, Taraba, Adamawa, Gombe, Bauchi, and Adamawa State, Taraba State. So, well, that is what we can take on this segment of the morning show. We're going to go for a short break. When we come back, the Pidgin segment of the morning show will be here. So don't go anywhere. We still have the morning show, the Pidgin segment. And get ready. The lines will be open for you on the Pidgin segment for you to call in and have conversation with Mother Esther Oka-Steven. Don't go anywhere. Good morning.
In today's digital age, staying ahead of the curve is crucial for success. Taraba Business School is committed to empowering the next generation of leaders with the skills they need to thrive. We present to you our special computer training exclusively designed for SS3 and JSS3 graduates. Our comprehensive program covers a wide range of topics, including Microsoft Word, master the art of document creation and editing, unlock the power of data analysis and visualization, Microsoft Access, learn to manage and analyze database, Microsoft PowerPoint, create stunning presentations that captivate audiences, graphic design using CorelDRAW, unleash your creativity and design skills, Photoshop, enhance your image editing skills and create stunning visuals, programming using web design, build dynamic website and web applications, database development, learn to design and manage databases, UI/UX design, create user-friendly and intuitive interfaces. At the Taraba Business School, we believe in creating world-class entrepreneurs and professionals. Our experienced instructors will guide you every step of the way, providing you with hands-on training and mentorship. Don't miss this opportunity to gain a competitive edge. Contact us today to learn more about our program and register for the next session. Call 080-6026-9140, 070-6342-8464, or 090-1010-8844 between 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Taraba Business School, creating world-class entrepreneurs and professionals. Join us today and unlock your full potential. Taraba Business School, opposite Civil Service Commission, Hamarua Way, Jalingo, Taraba State. Empower yourself with the skills of the future. Register now. In today's digital age, staying ahead of the curve is crucial for success. Taraba Business School is committed to empowering the next generation of leaders with the skills they need to thrive. We present to you our special computer training exclusively designed for SS3 and JSS3 graduates. Our comprehensive program covers a wide range of topics, including Microsoft Word, Master the art of document creation and editing. Unlock the power of data analysis and visualization. Microsoft Access. Learn to manage and analyze database. Microsoft PowerPoint. Create stunning presentations that captivate audiences. Graphic design using CorelDRAW. Unleash your creativity and design skills. Photoshop. Enhance your image editing skills and create stunning visuals. Programming using web design. Build dynamic websites and web applications. Database development. Learn to design and manage databases. UI/UX design. Create user-friendly and intuitive interfaces. At the Turabo Business School, we believe in creating world-class entrepreneurs and professionals. Our experienced instructors will guide you every step of the way, providing you with hands-on training and mentorship. Don't miss this opportunity to gain a competitive edge. Contact us today to learn more about our program and register for the next session. Call 080-6026-9140, 070-6342-8464 or 090-1010-8844 between 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Turabo Business School, creating world-class entrepreneurs and professionals. Join us today and unlock your full potential. Turabo Business School, opposite Civil Service Commission, Hamarua Way, Jalingo, Turabo State. Empower yourself with the skills of the future. Register now. In today's